Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Rick Steves video, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Castles of Scotland, Rick Steves Europe travel guide. Preemptive like. Original link to the video, top of the description. My name's Connor if you're new. Let's go, all right? Love castles. Scotland looks beautiful.
Yeah, I'll react to that, sure.
Oh, you will? Thanks. I'll react to that, sure, was from... I do a lot of videos, so I react to a lot. Let's get started.
Where the city did at the Edinburgh Castle. We start our visit where the city did at the Edinburgh Castle, the fortified birthplace of the city over 1,000 years ago. This imposing symbol of Edinburgh sits boldly on a rock high above the city. While the castle has been both a fort and a royal residence since the 11th century, most of the buildings today are from its more recent use as a military garrison. Crowds gather as, traditionally, each day at 1 o'clock, the big gun is fired, giving the ships in the port something to set their clocks by. Why 1 o'clock and not noon? It costs the frugal Scots 11 fewer rounds. Your admission comes with a fine guided tour.
Well, welcome to the castle, ladies and gentlemen. It takes roughly about 20-25 minutes from the time we leave here to the time we get to the top. You'll all have climbed 414 feet. It's easy. I've done it 10 times a day already. Come on.
Let me just come on.
Well, welcome to the castle, ladies and gentlemen. It takes roughly about 20-25 minutes from the time we leave here to the time we get to the top. You'll all have climbed 414 feet. It's easy. I've done it 10 times a day already. Come on. And once you got through gate number 5, or if you got through gate number 5, we still had a surprise for you because we had gate number 6. And once you knocked down all these gates, you were basically in the lower defences, which means you're in the bottom half of the castle and you had plenty of room to fight. The castle has never been taken by force. It has only been taken under siege. Now, you see how much trouble we went to keep the English out. But a bit more diplomatic now, we charge them money to come in. This is Mons Meg. It was given to James II by his uncle William, Duke of Burgundy, as a present in 1450.
Sorry, I always get confused with, like, is it James the Sixth and the first, James the Fourth and the first, the fourth of England, fourth of Scotland, first of England? Sorry, I always forget.
It was given to James II by his uncle William, Duke of Burgundy, as a present in 1457. And the reason why he gave us it is because we were fighting the English, and he was fighting the English, so it was a common bond. But the cannon itself weighs 7 tons. It took 150 pounds of gunpowder to fire a 300-pound stone cannonball, less than 1.75 miles. It suited the Scotsmen. They had time to go and pick the cannonballs up, bring them back, and fire them again. Well, this will be the last stop, ladies and gentlemen. And what you're going to see in the square now is the Great Hall, Mary Queen of Scots apartments, the Crown Jewels, and of course the Scottish National War Memorial. Thank you for listening.
I love great tour guides like that.
We're driving across the lowlands to the Castle of Stirling. This historic castle is at the crossroads of Scotland, midway between Edinburgh and Glasgow.
Battle of Stirling Bridge, is that above here?
Rising above a plain midway between Edinburgh and Glasgow.
Jesus.
Rising above a plain where the lowlands meet the highlands, it's no surprise that this strategic castle has hosted many of the biggest names and biggest battles of Scottish history.
I love Stirling Bridge.
Stirling was the seat of the kings and queens of Scotland. Imagine Mary, Queen of Scots, passed through these imposing gates. To the Scots, this patriotic heart of Scotland is like Bunker Hill, Gettysburg, and the Alamo, all rolled into one. From these ramparts, you can see where the 3 pivotal battles of Scotland's 13th and 14th century wars of independence from English rule took place. The Battle of Stirling Bridge, where against all odds, the courageous William Wallace defeated the English army. The Battle of Falkirk, where Wallace was then toppled by a vengeful English king. And the Battle of Bannockburn, where in the wake of Wallace's defeat, Robert the Bruce rallied the Scots to kick out the English once and for all. Well, at least for a few generations. It was said, he who holds Stirling...
Guys, I know Braveheart isn't an accurate movie. I don't care. I love it. All right? It's a great movie. Don't ruin...
For a few generations. It was said, he who holds Stirling holds Scotland. the castle was the preferred home of Scottish kings and queens in the Middle Ages and Renaissance, and their 500-year-old statues still decorate the walls. In the 16th century, the Stuart monarchs turned this castle into a showpiece of Scotland and a symbol of one-upmanship against England. Much later, in the 18th century, Scotland was embroiled in a civil war. Scottish rebels called the Jacobites wanted to put a Catholic Stuart on the throne in London. They failed, and the British military took over Scotland's beloved Stirling Castle. It became a garrison, filled with redcoats. To this day, Stirling Castle provides a base for the British, not the Scottish, military. In 1746, these very cannon fired on Scottish rebels. And you'll notice the castle still flies the Union Jack of the United Kingdom. Inverary Castle, the residence of the 13th Duke of Argyll, has a stately turreted exterior set in a delightful garden. Historically a stronghold of the Campbell clan, its walls are well...
George Washington? I know it can't be, but it looks like him.
Historically a stronghold of the Campbell clan, its walls are well hung with portraits of the many dukes who've called this palace home. Here's the first Duke, with Dukes number 2 and 3 on deck. As with many such castles, the aristocratic family still lives here, like clan royals. Displays are like the family scrapbook, showing the current Duke and his family who still occupy the private half of this palace. The public half is a museum, filled with precious, if you're a Campbell, artifacts. This case features pendants of esteemed family members through the ages. This one's filled with dirks and daggers, set against a nice Campbell tartan. A highlight is the Armory Hall, which fills the main atrium. Here, swords and rifles are artistically arrayed in starburst patterns.
I just have
Docents are standing by and happy to answer questions.
Yep, so our halberds here date from the 1600s. They come from the earlier castle before this one.
Now, what is a halberd?
So a halberd could be used against charging
more
cavalry.
ceremonial.
And you'll notice they've got tassels on them. It's not just for decoration. Don't know about you. From killing someone, you don't want their blood dripping down your weapon, making it all slippy.
So the tassels actually had a function.
That's right. So the tassels would soak up the blood.
In these muskets?
So this is...
I thought blood would be, if anything, kind of give more of a grip, because isn't blood kind of like, when it dries quickly, it's kind of sticky? I wouldn't know. I'm not a serial killer.
Our brain-based flintlock musket. It's all dating from the...
In these muskets?
So this is our brown-based flintlock muskets, all dating from the 1740s. These are all original, and they were last used at the Battle of Culloden, 1746,
Culloden.
the last battle fought on British soil. Yes, so we have in this cabinet some of the belongings of Rob Roy McGregor, a kind of famous folk hero.
The famous Rob Roy.
That's right, Rob Roy McGregor. So this is his sporran here.
And what is a sporran?
So a sporran, if you think of a kilt, there's no pockets in a kilt.
Right.
So you'd have your sporran.
It's a fanny pack.
And in your sporran, you'd have maybe a wee bag of oatmeal.
So this is your bag of essentials?
Exactly, yes.
Hanging right
for
here
sure.
in front.
Yeah.
You'll find castles like this all over the Highlands. Today, countless Scottish Americans make a pilgrimage of sorts to their ancestral clan capital. If you're a Campbell, you'd come here to Inverary.
That was really great. Nice short video from Rick Steves Europe. Would appreciate any answers to any of the questions I had, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you enjoyed that. I'd love for you to like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you next video. Bye, guys.